Hi there. So, this interview that I'm about to show you, or for those of you who are only listening, present to you, this next person is J.A. Price, who goes by Jen. She's an author. She's a very talented author and a very kind, energetic, sweet person. And it was a pleasure to speak to her about her writing. And I, I have to say, I'm not going to say a whole lot in preamble because I think I just want to introduce you to her. I just want to get right to the chase and let you meet her. But I will say one thing. There's a tiny mistake at the end of this interview, or rather toward the end of this interview. And it's a mistake that I made. I told her that she was my first author interview. That's not true. My first author interview was done just very recently on July 6th. Anyway, that was Ellie Trotta, who has been my friend since we were at Burbank High School together in the 90s. I don't know why I said J.A. Jen was my first author interview. I guess, it's a brain fart, I guess. And also, Ellie is such a good friend of mine that first and foremost, in my head, she's just my awesome, incredible friend. And but I had to go, wait a minute, no. Ellie's an author and I interviewed her, so technically Jen is my second author interview. Now, with that cleared up, and without further ado, I give you J.A. Price. When did you start writing?
Oh gosh. I think I started writing like third or fourth grade.
Okay.
But I've never done anything until like the last couple of years as far as trying to like publish or get noticed or anything like that. That's only been like the last, I don't know, maybe year and a half.
What do you like about doing the Kindle Vella stories?
What I liked about it was that you can it's serialized, right? So you can pretty much write at your own pace. And you can get your stories out there while you're writing them and get feedback at the same time. So
Okay.
that's one of the things that I really liked. Initially, it just started out with me and a few friends, and we'd kind of like email each other or get on a chat and be like, "Hey, the scene isn't all that great. How do we fix it?" Kind of like just like that. And it just kind of I kept going with it. I liked it.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
So like with Honey Trapped, what okay, there's several questions I have about it, honestly. But with regard to the Kindle Vella, like writing it for Kindle Vella, so like you literally wrote it kind of episode at a time, like you put out episode one, and then, or did you have it kind of all mapped out and then
No, so with Honey Trapped, I actually just started writing it on Word. Um, and I had actually completed that story before I put it on Kindle Vella, but I hadn't edited it yet. I mean, I'm sure when you went through, you saw some mistakes in it. I hadn't edited it yet. And I was somebody had told me, they were like, "Hey, why don't you put it on INKITT?" Because I kept asking for beta readers and I was having trouble getting beta readers. They were like, "Why don't you put it on INKITT?" So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. I put it on INKITT. I got some pretty good feedback. And
okay.
then somebody was like, "Hey, but if you do Kindle Vella, you can get feedback and you can get paid for it." So I was like, done.
Okay. I don't even know about INKITT. What?
INKITT, it's kind of like a Wattpad, but the stories on there are more adult, I feel like. And to me, because they're more adult, like you can kind of empathize with the characters better.
Mhm.
Like I'm 45, so I have a hard time
Same.
looking back to my teenage years and thinking like a teenager.
Yeah.
So INKITT just kind of fit my, I think, my reading preferences.
More like your stuff, like well, at least Honey Trapped is the only one I've read so far. And but I'm excited to read Forced Promises and to kind of compare them. And I am going to put the links in the description, by the way, so
Oh,
people can
thanks.
check that out. But the romance, the whole romance genre is so interesting because, and as a reader, you always know, like the reader always knows what's going to happen, you know. They're always going to get together, you know that,
Yeah,
but it's that how does
it's
it
the journey.
how does it unfold? Yes, the journey. Boy meets girl in the case of Honey Trapped, boy traps girl. Girl kind of kicks and screams a little bit, and you know, there's all this duplicity and everything, and so the journey is so exciting. But
So
yeah.
I haven't written a children's book. I have written a sci-fi kind of paranormal,
Okay.
and that one is on Amazon. It's called Divine Charity.
Yes.
And yeah, so there's what I didn't realize at the time was that there's actually another book called Divine Charity. But that's written by another author, and it is a romance, but it's way different from mine. So mine is more like a play on like theology. It's not religious by any means, but I do use religious characters as like real people
Mhm.
and kind of like living their lives, but with a little twist to it. So
Okay. Is it also,
yeah.
is there that kind of Sicilian American?
No, this one is so this one is basically about an angel and a demon, the archangel Camiel, as he would be if he were still alive today, and how he falls in love with his mate, but he doesn't realize that she's actually the daughter of somebody that he has had problems with in the past, and so they kind of have to learn how to get past that so that they can be together.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
I had fun writing it. So
Is it on Kindle Vella?
that one's on Amazon.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah.
Is it available as an ebook or?
It's available in ebook. Yeah. I haven't done a paperback yet because like I
Okay.
said, I wasn't real I was just kind of like toying with it a little bit, learning the process.
Okay.
So, but it's not in paperback yet, but you could get it on ebook. It's on Kindle.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I'll put the link down there.
Yeah, and I think if you have what is it, Kindle Unlimited, it's free anyway. So
Nice. Okay.
yeah.
I don't happen to have that anymore, but that's okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. So you are going to publish Honey Trapped, right?
I am. I am. Right now I'm working on getting it actually edited finally. So once that happens, I'll probably set a release date, January, February-ish timeframe.
Okay. Yeah, I love the structure of Honey Trapped though. Like and the I think I wanted to say I love having the like all the Italian in there, you know, because I don't know Italian, but I
Right.
love kind of using the Google Translate, you know, and what they're saying and so yeah, I mean, are you fluent in Italian?
I'm conversational.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you put me around in a room full of Italians, I'll be lost. But one-on-one, slow conversation, I can
Yeah.
I can feel my way around around the verbiage, but
Yeah.
um really like I mean, so I'm second generation American here, so I grew up hearing it a lot, but my grandparents and my father were old school, and they were like, well, we want to have private conversations that don't involve little ears, so we're not going to teach you Italian. So I had to learn it. I took it in school because I was like, well, I want to know what the adults are talking about. So I took it in school basically just to be nosy.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's lucky because in my schools we never had that option. It was French or Spanish. Those are your
French, yeah,
options. So
typically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I went to an all-girls school, and the school that I went to was chock full of Italians, so it was kind of a given that that would be one of the languages that they would offer.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
yeah, but there's still like even now, like there's still plenty of people who will use kind of like I'm also Puerto Rican, so kind of like how you have Spanglish, there's kind of a version of that too. Um,
with
for
Spanish.
Italian, and I heard that a lot from my father growing up. And of course, my dad is your typical Guido. Like, if you took Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro, and that guy who plays Paulie on The Sopranos, that's my dad. Typical Guido.
Yeah.
Says the most off the wall things, has the quintessential Guido accent. I mean, he's hilarious to listen to, but he's got a temper. So,
Oh.
you know, so I took a lot of the personality of like Sal,
Uh-huh.
and when you see Drew interacting with that group of people, I kind of put my dad into them. So all the F bombs and all the verbiage, that's my dad, 100%.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very easy to visualize all those characters in Honey Trapped, just being I'm not, I am Italian. I'm a Sicilian.
Oh,
I've got, it's generations back. It's like 7 or 8 generations back. So, it's like right next to the border of France, like right around like
mhm.
Temiglia. Um, but,
You
but
didn't get a
that's just kind of a, that's just kind of a tangent, but
yeah.
mostly like, I mean, most of my, like, I love the Godfather. I love all the mafia, all the
Oh
classic
yeah.
mafia movies. So I really got into kind of seeing that, and um, it was kind of I also liked how you touched on the human trafficking aspect of that world. Um, I like the way you did that. I don't know. It's always good. I think even in a story that maybe is supposed to be, you want it to be sort of lighthearted. You kind of have that kind of real world jolt, I guess.
Yeah, and I didn't want to delve too deeply into it because I mean, one, it's a romance, and two, I really didn't want to. I didn't want to trigger anything in anybody. I wanted it to be something that everybody could read. Everybody who loves the genre could read, and
Yeah.
so I kind of like, like you said, the real world jolt, but
Yeah.
covered, with the fluff. I,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. For sure. Like you have to make it believable that,
Right.
like of course these guys are going to be doing that stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is funny because they are they have their own brand of morality, right?
Yeah.
And so you just got to be careful with it. You don't want to step on toes, but you want to tell a good story. And I think hopefully I was able to bring that through with Sal. Like, yeah, he could do that with those women, but his sister was like, you don't mess with my sister. I can mess with my sister. You can't mess with my sister type. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
Drew kind of manipulated himself perfectly in order to make himself that guy, that one guy that was okay to be with his sister.
right. Yeah. I mean, he laid that good guy routine
Yeah.
on a little thickly. So, uh, he got his job done. So,
Did. Yeah, he definitely did.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's exciting though that you're gonna publish Honey Trapped, and I
Yeah.
guess it'll come out as an ebook, and then
That one I want to do ebook and paperback. So I'm kind of like a little nervous about that, but
yeah.
you got to wet your feet at some point, right?
Oh, I mean, I think it's a solid story.
Oh,
Like
thank you.
as a romance, like you've got all the elements and then some, and you know, like you said, it's an older romance in terms, or more mature, I guess, a mature
Right.
romance. So I love, I don't talk to romance authors enough, honestly, but I'm always impressed by the dedication of,
Mhm.
you know, women who do romance writing. Like you always
Yeah.
see those kind of meetings at the library, you know, the women get together and they've got their notebooks and they're ready, like they're
Oh yeah.
structuring the whole thing. And I'm very impressed by that because I'm not the kind of writer, but I'd love to be that kind of writer, you know.
Right, right.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I know having a notebook with you is a must. I
yeah,
always have one in my purse.
yeah.
And a lot of like one-liners and stuff I get from my family. Like I come from a family of clowns apparently. So,
Wow.
like yeah, my kids, I don't know, like they come up with things and I'm like, where did you even, okay, that was hilarious. I'm writing that down. So,
Oh yeah. So you have two kids? Oh,
so I have three bio kids and three bonus kids.
oh,
So three girls and three boys. So it's, when they're all together, it's chaos. But two of them are grown and out of the house. So
yeah.
there's four now.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Actually, it can be sometimes, but
Yeah.
I'm biased, but I think I have a good group of kids. So I don't feel like I don't feel overwhelmed. I get annoyed, but I don't feel overwhelmed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm lucky in that respect. So
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
I like that, the bonus kids.
Yeah. I mean, they've
Yeah.
been in my life now 8 years.
Yeah.
Um, and they don't live with me all the time. Well, live with us all the time. They go back and forth between mom and dad, but I mean, 8 years. I mean, how do you not consider them yours? To some degree, without
Yeah.
without disrespecting bio mom. Love her to bits. She's a great lady, but they're mine too. So
That's great. Yeah.
yeah,
I know that the term is wonderful, the bonus child, because
yeah,
it's just extra. It's more, you know.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
just growing yeah.
I
So
mean, there's nothing wrong with step kid. I mean, it's
mhm.
a term, a descriptive term, but I don't know. I feel like I got lucky having them. So
That's great. I love
yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, well, right now I'm working on Forced Promises and I'm trying to figure out how to get the whole marketing thing going. Because when I did Divine Charity, I did not market it at all. I didn't put it out there. It was literally me just writing and like, okay, I want to learn the process. And so I uploaded the book just to kind of get a feel for what it would be like when I was ready to like actually do something. And so right now I'm kind of like more focusing on how to market, how to get your name out there, and that's pretty much what I'm focusing on right now. That and finishing Forced Promises. This is Cosmo of the Many Grouchies. He gets grouchy around my husband. I think he thinks he's my husband.
Okay, of course.
He likes to be held like a baby.
Well, J.A. Price, that's your author name, and I'll put the links to your stories. I haven't read Forced Promises yet. Because I only learned about that one, but I'm following it, so
Oh,
I will
yay!
check that
Thank you.
out. And I see it's also like Honey Trapped. It's a mafia romance, so I'm excited about that. Is that
Yeah.
kind of you like that theme a lot? The
Well, I'm an Italian from the
yeah.
Bronx, so.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you live, is that where you live now or?
No, actually, now I live in
Oh,
Florida.
that's right. Okay. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we're both on the same time zone. I remember that
right.
now. Yeah. Thank you so much for this chat. This was great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You made me feel very comfortable. I was very nervous.
I know I was a little nervous too, because this was my first author interview. So
Oh, really?
yeah, I haven't.
Oh,
You're
because
my
I caught some of your interviews, but I was like, I'm sure she's got authors in here somewhere.
not authors. No, not
No,
authors.
no.
You're the first. So,
Oh, okay.
and then,
Well,
yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.